welcome back to MD Model Works. With time constraints, I've had to move on fairly sharpish, so what I've done, as you can see, I've put in the area for the gun to sit. She's been weathered, so she's a bit dirty, ready to go. The cockpit has been detailed. As you can see, she's all in there nice with a little bit of a wash on her, and we are ready now to add our top. We've put our two side plates on, ready for our ailerons. They're ready to go on. We've already sprayed black the top area, so this is how we're going to do it. So what you're going to basically now is see me glue the top to the bottom, which is quite a sensible thing to do and quite simple. Just making sure that everything is in place. Once it's lined up, I know from experience it's a fantastic fit. So we're just going to get aligned, make sure we haven't forgotten anything like grommets or anything else that needs doing. We have, so it's lucky. So we'll lift the tail section up in our little box of tricks. Let's move her a bit more forward and we'll bring you in just a hair. Not much to do it. Off a little while. One, two. Now these two just sit just there like so. As simple as that. And whoops, gonna need to get that out of there. Place her in here, just so that we can close it all up tight, knowing that everything fits and everything's ready. Okay, so we're going to go around and now just check everything for fit, see what isn't fitting and why. That seems to be going down well. The nose section isn't quite far enough forward for some reason. Just flip her in. That goes in there. That's better. Right. So what we'll do first, we'll get our tet. I hope you can see this. Get our tet and just try some different camera angles to see how we get on. And all we're going to do is just touch it in the gaps, let it flow along as usual. Sorry, I've actually left my scanner on as well. It's not very professional. That's the way it is today, I'm afraid. I'm not having a lot of luck. I just checking everything's going to fit to make sure we're all happy and it's all going to click into place just as I want it, which it is, before we start putting tet everywhere. Although tet is quite a forgiving glue, if you don't get it right you could be in trouble. Alright, so they can come off that. I'll close that up using the peg, and we'll just do the other side. Again, making sure we've got it correct. Although I don't want that to squeeze that up so much. So we're just gluing the two halves together. I'll hold it together there. Now while that front edge is gluing, to give me that look that I want, just come back. Where did that peg go? This seemed good. How can you lose a peg just like that? Only I can do that. Put that over there for a sec. I've got to need that though. All we're going to do, I don't need this one anymore. We're going to put a peg just in the area to hold it down. So all we want to do at the moment is just get a nice fit, just like that. Put a peg on so she holds, and the same on the other side, and she holds that side nicely anyway. That's lovely. Well pleased with that. Right, we now have 2 screws to go in, 2 of our medium sized screws. This actually holds our system, the wings, in, if you like. Just start up. And the model is starting to get quite heavy now. Excuse me. And there we go. Just put that in, like so. And then we can check all our alignments. Here she clips in absolutely lovely. Everything clips down. This is such a good kit. And all we're going to do is run our tap along the seams to get a nice tight fit. Again, we don't need those pegs, so that can go over the top. We just want to make sure I'm quite lined up how I want it. Needs to go back slightly. That can then be held into place. Like so. And then we have another peg to go there. I will need to peg for that, but we'll spray that in a little while. That side. Try not to get your pegs so they touch anything to do where the glue is, because it will ruin the finish. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it just a slightly better fit. Literally snick a tiny amount off so that fits in there absolutely perfectly like that. Great, that's all I want to do. And then a drop of glue there, and of course there as well. Okay. So as that front side is all glued, that can go there like so, just to make sure everything that I want done is correct. Let's do the screw up just a little bit tighter. Remember, it is plastic. You overdo them, you ruin everything you're doing. Okay, so we're going to need a little bit of filler around that area. Bear with me, I'm just going to get some more pegs. I have an absolute box, shoebox full of them down here. When you buy pegs, I mean this is the old way we used to do it years ago, but it still works to this day, so that's what I do. Try and get the ones with the rubber grommets on them. Believe it or not, it works brilliantly. Okay, so we'll just hold that into place like so, and we'll just touch and flow our glue around, just making sure we're not doing any damage to much or anything that we don't want to. Glue into there, and we can close that up as well. In fact, I might put 2 pegs in there, so we'll run our glue again through that section. That's a bit of a longer peg, and that one into there. There is a little bit of a gap, but we'll sort that out at a later time. Now, all we're going to do with this part here is to get our brush and that join and just run a brush along it. We don't want to give it too much, and that's it, that's all that's required. So do the other side and I'll come back to you. Thank you. Right, so where are we at? Well, I did video adding the resin part, first part of the resin tail on. This is a lot more detailed than the other part that comes with the kit, but it doesn't come with the ventral fin. So what we have to do is to, where's my blade? There we go. I'll bring you in. Now, I'm not using the sharpest blade in the thingy, in the box that I've got. This is an old blade, it's been used. The reason for that is a sharp blade can easily veer off what you're doing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to remove the horizontal stabilizer, or ventral fin, whatever you want to call it, off the plastic. So we're going to push it down hard onto the mat, and we're going to start at the front. Make sure you can see this. Move it up a bit and bring it in, just so you can see. And all we're going to do is just run the knife along the side in the corner, and that's all. And we're not putting hardly any pressure. We're literally just creating a score mark. Gently, we could build the pressure up a little bit now as the score mark is there. We can speed up just that little bit more, like so. And then just check on the inside, no white marks yet, which is fine. And literally just keep carrying on, following that score mark through. Gently, gently, so as not to damage anything. That's all we're doing. Right, I hear Dudley outside chatting to everybody and round the close. So the close, we're only 6 houses down here next to the river. It's very warm, so the windows are open. It's a nice Saturday afternoon. Right, so we now got our white mark, which is great, so we know we're getting close. I'm just going to keep scoring until it removes itself. There we go. And cut away. And we're going to do, just to make sure it comes off nice and neat, is to run our scalpel through. There you go. So we have a little bit of a rise mark, which you always get when you're using a scalpel to do a job like this. So I'll take out just that little bit. So all I'm going to do is level that off using quite a rough sanding stick. I'm just going to get a smooth edge like so. So that's ready. And the other one I've already done. So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Just like so. It's looking good. Those two will join together quite easily and cleanly. And we already have a gap there. Oops, excuse me. Once that's nice and solid, we can then sit that on top to the correct position, which is like that, and then we can fill around whatever gaps we need with our Vallejo. Piece of cake. So I'm just checking the fit, make sure everything's nice and everything we want is spot on. It's looking good. I'll tap. And I want this really hard before the glue is set, rather, before we start doing the fitting that we would normally do. Touch and flow, and just drag the brush along just to help it, just that little bit. Now on the inside, just a touch to hold it, and then make sure you've got no glue on your fingers, which is my main weakness. We're just making sure it's all glued in, all the join is nice how we want it. Now I'm going to stand that away to set for a couple of hours. I want that nice and hard before we start messing around and fitting her and re-sanding it to get the actual fit that we require. So that will be nicely out of the way. Right, next parts are going to be, get out. I think that's the other side, but that will just generally push in. This is one of the ailerons, and that's going to push in like so, but we have to glue our part on first. So we check everything and just touch. Obviously I've cleaned these up already. A little bit of flow, hold it in nicely, that'll glue on. Again, we'll leave that for a little while. Same on the other side. Obviously I'll clean these up, well, nearly, he says. Before we even think about gluing these, I tend to clean them up. We run a bit on the top, a bit on this edges, and that'll sit and glue. Right, now we have our flaps. When I say flaps, our frontal flaps. We need to work out which one we're going to use. Now, I need to talk to the guy to work out whether we're going to have the flaps if I bring in our model again, you can have these in two ways. You can have them up position, or you can have them ready for takeoff. Obviously we've got a little guy in there, so I'm going to drop the flaps. I've made a mind up, so I'll remove all those when this is all glued. But again, using the tap, just running the glue down inside. Try not to get it on the facial surfaces, because if my fingers touch it, then it will mess it up completely. Okay, now on the front of this, it doesn't actually join in completely, so all we're going to do is just touch that part and touch that part there. Now the glue will go in, it will run along there and it will hold it, but I don't want to make too much of a mess at the moment, so we'll do the same again with these, this side. So we'll just a little bit of glue on the end. Oops. A little bit of glue on the edges, like so. Let the glue flow into it, let the capillary action do most of the work, but you're just gluing in without any issues. Just like so. And we hold it together for a few seconds, check to make sure that's all lined up, which it is nicely. Wipe some of the glue off, quick touch, a couple of places just so the glue runs along, and there you go, that's your front flaps. Now right, also with this kit we get quite a few, bring you in, metal shafts. These again, there are lots of them. There are 2 or 3 different sizes. But what we're going to do, we're going to get our little storage bin and put them all straight into it. There are some spares in here already, which is always a bonus, just in case. And add them in, like so. Now, I know from history, or from my history, doing this, that we have MS3s and MS2s. Now the shaft we're looking for, not the sword or the Jedi, but the shaft is a 0.7 by 6mm. So we need 2 6mm shafts. Now the only way to do this is to measure them to get them correct. So that's 6. We're going to go. And keep looking. Thought I had 2, but I didn't. Fell off my finger. Right, there we go. So there's 2 6mm tiny little shafts. I mean, they are tiny. You probably can't even see them. But these, we want a tiny touch of super glue. No, not on this, we don't, if I remember rightly. We want to let these flow. So there are 2 holes on the end of each outer wing, and these just slide in. But what I'm going to do is a little bit of my Gorilla Glue. Don't want a lot. Put that on the wet palette, on the dry palette, whatever you want to call it. And just touch the end in so that it holds it in nicely, like so. Oops. Doodly-doo. There it goes, glued to my nail. So that'll go in like so. That'll hold itself nice and tight. Hopefully, don't drop that, whatever you do, Mark. Put that away for a minute. Our other one for the other side. Oops, hit the camera. Not having a good day today. And that slides in as well. Now, as you can see on the back of these, we also have some little plates. Now those plates we're going to dig out in a moment, we're going to cut off. I shan't bore you with putting them on. We'll put those on and there'll be more of those antennas going on. Then we also have, oh excuse me, we have our blown plastic or styrene wing tanks to our top tanks to put on, which they're not cleaned up yet. I've got to work out which way they go. That's this side. They sit on there something like this eventually when I put them on. They do cover a lot of the gun up, but we'll have the gun in place later on before we put that in. So that can go at one side. So everything's come together a little bit more now. There's lots more to do. So I'll clean some more parts up and we'll get back and do some more. Right, so after talking to Nick, we've decided, or Nick's decided, as his model, whatever he decides to do is good by me. We are going to have flaps up, so nice and straight. So all I'm doing at the moment is just checking the way everything lines up and the way it is. So this one goes in there like so on the aileron, and we have our two outside. These ones are easy, there's little tags, they go downwards, and all we do here is to make sure I didn't leave it long enough for the glue to set. Those place in and just slide in to the correct area, which I seem to have got wrong for some reason. Let's get these in and on like so. So that just fits on, and that means that the aileron can move, which is super duper. So what we do is just get our tet, touch it on the top all the way along and on the edge there, and push in. Hold it for a few seconds just for it to bite. That's that side mostly in. Just holding that again, and I wouldn't turn the servo off, but there you go. Right, to take you out. Sorry about that. It's amazing, you put a £500 lens on a camera and it still makes a noise when it goes in and out, but hey ho. Right, so that's in nicely. Then we have our other side. So the aileron slips in. We've got a bit of filling to do, but we can move this out of the way, which isn't an issue. Get our end into the area we're supposed to be, and in we go, just like so, making sure everything's good. sure it all holds into place nicely, and again out slightly, a little bit along each edge just to protect, sorry, to use the glue. That's our owner. Texting me as we speak, so these are all ready to go. Just look at in there and see we have a slight issue with the droop. Always have a slight issue with the droop, but hey ho. Right, what we're going to do is cut it away, I think, but instead of doing that we're going to remove the whole thing and see what's going on in there. We have glue globules in the way. I thought there was something wrong, I should have checked first. Alright, bear with me again, just to clean this up. Alright, nearly there. That's better. Right, try it again. That could be why it didn't sit right the first time around. Okay, so that goes in. Our rod is there, ready. Doodly-doo. It's very, very warm here on the Norfolk-Suffolk border today. So much feel I've got a bit of a sweat on, which ain't good. That then slides into our hole there. That goes in, and that's a lot better fit. That is a heck of a lot better, I think. Personally, yeah, because once it's held in, that'd be great. Okay, so hold it out, open, a slight touch, glue dripped. Make sure we get the glue in there, and hold her nice and flat the way she should be. That's better. We'll droop the aileron for now, although it shouldn't be drooped like that. Right. Okay, right, so after speaking to Nick, we've decided to have a flaps up configuration. My first job though is to get the tail on and in a position where we're happy and ready to go. So we'll just put some super glue out. So obviously this is plastic to, or styrene to resin. So we're just going to do a quick test fit to make sure everything lines up, and we use the rudder as well, and to say we're happy there is very, very good. So we'll just take the burr off around the outside from the knife. Sorry, I suppose I'm completely out of frame. Get carried away. There you go. And just take the burr off this side. Check to make sure we've got a nice level base, which we have. We're going to get some super glue, and we're going to run the super glue right the way over and across on both sides, like so, and place it as forward as we possibly can while we check to make sure the rudder fits, and it fits there perfectly. So we're going to hold that for a few seconds. I tend not to use kicker of any description, because I find it dries the glue white and makes it worse than it actually is. So that's nice, and that's ready for a little bit of filler. It won't take a lot to get it correct and how I want it. So we're actually starting now to look like an F-16. She's coming along nicely. Right, while I've still got the camera running, I've test fitted these, but I haven't fit them quite yet. We just want to make sure everything's going to fit exactly as we want, which that will nicely. So we'll have some glue on some of the parts there. On anywhere that's going to touch, we're just adding glue. So this will be quite vulnerable otherwise. And in the upright position, just slide it in. Hold it there. For now, just hold it in place. A few seconds for the glue just to grab. Like so. That's lovely. There's plenty of movement there for it, which is exactly what I wanted. Although that edge is a little bit iffy. I'll come back to that, I think. It's just a little bit awkward. But she's holding nicely now. That's that side. And we come to this side. Making sure we've got nothing in the way. The other side I had pre-checked, this side I haven't. So we need to see where we are and what we're doing. Like so. And again, we're quite happy with that. So that can be glued on. And take that off. Plenty of glue. Again, to soften her up. Ready to go on. And then she just slides into place. Simple as that. Hold it in place. Brilliant. Okay. That was still a little bit wonky, but we'll sort that. Just like so. Touch of glue. Just to get the glue in there. Same with this side. And we're away. Right, so we are getting very, very close now to paint, which won't be long. Okay. Right, next job up, we'll get the gun in, and then we can get the tanks on the outside ready to go. Right, that's the end of that part. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching.